let's start out with our lead story.
Transhuman, make way for the Homo superior.
Newsweek. Not Crazy Man's blog or a WordPress site.
Newsweek. Or a podcast.
Newsweek.com. Michael Flynn claims people working on putting robotics in us changing DNA.
Oh.
Wow. Newsweek carrying the headline, but also able to do it because they have a scapegoat, but nevertheless. Here's what it says. Michael Flynn.
We need to get one of those.
A scapegoat?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, our producers can present something. Michael Flynn, the national security advisor under former President Donald Trump, claimed that people are attempting to change people's DNA as a step toward, quote unquote, transhumanism. Mm-hmm. It's here. It's mainstream. It took 10 years to be this mainstream. It's been a trickle, of course, but
yeah, I mean, it's been an obsession of ours, but finally somebody got the message to Michael Flynn, and now it's in Newsweek. So this is great. We got to find something. Okay, all right. I'll have more comments. I'll say for the next section. So part of the what should have been the emergent phenomenon today is the title that we told you so. And not that we're so right about everything, but we do have this ISO and it's going to come out. We're going to play it over and over again today. And it's from sports guy, Stephen A. Smith.
I tried to tell you, but nobody wanted to listen.
Yeah. And we also have the shorter.
I tried to tell you.
So, yeah, that'll be sprinkled throughout this episode to just sort of remind ourselves and everybody else that we've been talking about this for a long time. And it's starting to roll out. While appearing on the Thrive Time show, The Reawakening versus The Great Reset podcast on Tuesday. We got to rename our podcasts to something more intense like that.
Yeah.
Flynn discussed a new executive order advancing biotechnology and biomanufacturing innovation for a sustainable, safe, and secure American bioeconomy. That was signed by President Joe Biden last week. After reading a brief summary regarding the executive order, Flynn and the hosts concluded it was supporting transhumanism. According to the Encyclopedia Britannica, transhumanism is the social and philosophical movement devoted to promoting the research and development of robust human enhancement technologies. Such technologies could augment or increase human sensory reception, emotive ability. I think that's interesting. You're not feeling things right. Let me give you your proper algorithms to have the proper emotions. Or
hard enough. You're not feeling things strong enough.
Right.
Or
intense.
Maybe too strong.
Yeah. Or cognitive capacity, as well as radically improve human health and extend human lifespans. There's a good old shot of Flynn there. And then the notion of transhumanism is not mentioned in the executive order signed by Biden, however. What do you think, Basil? We went over it. We went over the executive order.
Is that like the point they're trying to make? Are they trying to make a point that the executive order doesn't use the word transhumanism?
Not just the word.
Therefore,
they claim, Newsweek claims, the notion of transhumanism is not mentioned. So it's
not mentioned. So I think they're saying
anything related to enhancement technologies. Yeah. See, this is a little out, right?
It's a nice little cover up. Yeah.
I mean, to anyone who's going to buy that,
but the notion, I mean, certainly is.
It's in there. The notion is in there.
The whole thing is about the notion, but just because they don't use the word doesn't mean the notion isn't there.
Yeah, that is really sneaky. The notion of transhumanism is not mentioned in the executive order signed by Biden. Mm-hmm. The video clip of Flynn discussing this has so far had more than 550,000 views on Twitter since being posted late Tuesday. Newsweek begging to get in on some of that. Quote, they are trying to change the very essence of our DNA, and there are people who are working on this. That is one of them, the Israeli public intellectual Yuval Noah Harari, Flynn said.
Classic.
Yeah. Quote, it is just not going to work. So what do? They're basically going to put components of robotics into us. That is one of the issues that they're looking at. So yeah, again, yes.
It's funny because we're reading this in Newsweek, which is, it's some sort of high watermark for these topics that we've been sort of
considered crazy
crazy people for talking about for 10 years. So it's one thing that is being mentioned in Newsweek. But the fact that it's Michael Flynn is not that great, but I mean, a lot of people listen to Michael Flynn. A lot of people respect what he has to say. Yeah. So I'll get whatever. Okay. But then
go ahead. I have a thought that it might leave me if I don't get it out there.
Hold on to it. So the fact is, Michael Flynn, I mean, that's something. A lot of people listen to Michael Flynn, but then what he's saying about it, it's like he's not that interested in it, or he's not that knowledgeable. It's like I don't know, somebody mentioned it to him and he watched a YouTube video and he's just kind of repeating what he saw on a YouTube video, because the way he's talking about it, the language he's using is just not that strong and not just not very poignant. I don't know. It's kind of disappointing.
I don't think it matters because I think this is more of an indication of we are at a point now politically, like in the political realm, you have your heroes and your anti-heroes. Everyone's got someone they look up to or someone they hate in politics, or someone they disagree with. Let's just put it that way. And Flynn, because this whole Newsweek thing is, without being really blunt about it, is sort of showing, oh, look at this crazy Flynn. And I think it's gotten to the point in the world where politically there is a certain segment of people that are into a certain type of politic that are all about human enhancement, all about it. And so they're going to buy in, and they're going to, it doesn't matter what Flynn says. The fact that he's against it or warning about it is like, Republican, whatever. So,
well, with the mysterious funding of Newsweek as well, which seems to, I don't know, give the implication that there's some intelligence apparatus at work at Newsweek. It would make sense that if they are trying to push a transhuman agenda, well, what do? You use one of the foils that they've created, like in wrestling, professional wrestling. You've got the foil, who's the bad guy, and whatever the bad guy says, you're supposed to be against it. And Michael Flynn is one of these foils. He's like a Trump, whatever he says, you want the opposite. So if Michael Flynn doesn't like transhumanism, there's a certain population that's going to be like, oh yeah, if Michael Flynn doesn't like it, then I love it.
Well, there's a couple things. I mean, he said putting technology putting components of robotics into us. Right. And so the woke crowd or whatever can be like, hey, what do you mean? You got a problem with that? I'm going to, and now they have the ammunition of, we've been seeing all the stories, how it's helping people that have, missing limbs or different things that hinder them. They have all the what is it called? The social, not social media, the
social credit,
Sure. Yeah. To make arguments against them. So anyway, I think there's that level to take a look at as well, because the fact that it's becoming mainstream means that there's a population that are going to be all about it, and which is interesting with the Jared Kushner thing. Remember that from a few episodes ago?
My generation is hopefully with the advances in science, the first generation to live forever, or the last generation that's going to die.
Yeah.
Yep, it's a mainstream thing, and not just because, finally, now elites are talking about it. The elites have been talking about it for a while.
Well, they've been funding it too.
Right, yeah, but it's just, I don't know. It kind of bums me out a little bit, but just because we've been talking about it for so long and nobody cared. Nobody cares. Still, nobody cares.
Well, there's a reference to Flippy, too. Let's just do a couple more lines here. Flynn clarified that these individuals allegedly preparing to create transhumanist people are different from those that use robotics to replace lost limbs. Quote, you see the robotic arms, which can help somebody, or robotic legs, which can help somebody who lost their legs or lost the movement of their arm, he said, to be able to do things and live a normal life. But that is different to what these guys are trying to do. Quote, they're actually...
Which is the conversation we've been having since like 2014, which is there's a difference between enhancement and restoration.
Right. 100%. Yeah. So, it's totally mainstream. Here it is.
Okay.
It's
Love it.
earlier this year in July, right-wing conspiracy theorists and InfoWars host Alex Jones made a similar claim and was equally vague regarding the details of this alleged plan. The clip also went viral on social media.
That makes me feel a little better because as long as we've been talking about this stuff, Alex has been there as well, and he's got way more problems than us. So I guess I can call that a win. Yeah.
Well, okay. And then in the clip, they have a clip here of Alex Jones. They always have to land the plane on Alex Jones here. Jones also demanded independence from artificial intelligence, computers, aliens, and Satan. There you go.
Yeah. Hey, there you go.
Sum it all up.
We should all value independence from those three things.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah. Can't disagree.
All right. Well, thanks, Mikey F. Appreciate it. I guess we can call that a win. I guess we're supposed to call that a win. But it doesn't feel like that, even though it is Friday, Guns.
It is
believe
Friday.
it or not.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Real quick, let me just mention this because I was going to mention
Wasn't
it before.
ready. Okay.
I know. Yeah. Sorry. Daniel 2:43. Just because we're mentioning that we've talked about it for a long time, this is one of the passages to reflect on. There are many. One of the passages you can reflect on to sort of think about what's happening with all this transhumanism stuff. And it's Daniel 2:43. As you saw the iron mixed with soft clay, they will mix with one another in marriage, but they will not hold together or cleave to one another, just as iron does not mix with clay. So just an interesting biblical painting of an idea that resonates with what we are seeing with this transhumanist thing. So that's all I wanted to say. You're right. It's Friday.